YouTube? Welcome back. Welcome back. We are on another episode of the live reactions, y'all. We reporting live. That's curated topics. Welcome back. I hope everybody had a great weekend. Hope y'all had a great start to your week. Um, I did. It was very busy. Excuse me. A lot busier than I thought it was gonna be. And so I wanted to do a stream over the weekend, but I didn't get a chance to. I was celebrating and having a good time. And you know what I was celebrating? I was celebrating Juneteenth. Yeah, celebrating Juneteenth. So for you, those of you all who don't know, Juneteenth is actually representative of the day in which black folks were truly free. Um, I don't know what they was doing down there in Texas, but they were a little bit behind. And so they did not get news until later. And once they got news, then we were fully free in this country. And so it is celebrated on June 19th. That was this past Friday. It was a great time. I had a great time. I got a couple videos, but they're on my phone. So I might upload them in my next recorded video. Maybe that'll be like the little exit video that I do. Y'all can check them out, see if you like them or whatnot. But let's start it off how we always do. Candle of the evening. I am going with my old candle here, the old peppermint joint. We are gonna light that on up, get the space nice and fresh and popping while we stream here tonight. So first of all, shout out to my boy Aaron Animal. He will be streaming in a couple of minutes. Actually, he's doing his live stream. He'll be gaming tonight. So I don't know if he's on here right now. He's my sound check guy. So let me know. Does my mic sound nice? We'll see. But yeah, so checking in with him right quick. But yeah, if y'all are interested in gaming or anything like that, he plays a lot of indie games, so that's independent games. He also plays some of the mainstream ones as well. But my favorite to watch, at least with him, I enjoy watching when he plays like a indie horror game. Those are fun to watch. I'm not gonna lie, those are fun to watch, and some people got some really, really good jump scares. Now, also want to talk about some new additions to the team. I told y'all we working out here. We working out here. Do y'all notice anything different? Do you notice anything different? Well, if you look up on the wall right there, we added some new artwork that I actually made today. We did some screen printing, and I did some printing on a T-shirt, and that was fun. I had never actually done that before, so try something new. Hey, get out there and make sure y'all try something new. I guarantee you will enjoy it. You'll have a good time. But so I tried something new. We uh we did some screen printing, did some printing on some t-shirts, and I'm actually I might utilize this method that they were doing and do that on some t-shirts on my own, get my logo going, get that out there, and get it popping. So we'll see. We shall see. I want to say their name is Zygote Press. So shout out to Zygote Press. They were there today. Y'all go check them out. I'm not exactly sure what their website is off the top of my head, but check out Zygote Press. Look them up on Google if you're interested. They have a lot of fun activities that you can do. You can pull up on them. You can do one-on-one sessions with them. You can do group sessions with them. I think I might sign up for either a one-on-one or a little group thing. Who knows? We're going to get it going though. So the other new addition, I'm going to slide a little bit this way. Yeah, I'm going to slide. Y'all, shout out to Engine. So I actually got a new chair. It was about time. I used to have, it might have been through this same company, but I used to have a different computer chair. It was actually a Spider-Man chair. Shout out to my homie. He gave it to me. He was moving and he was like, I don't have a space for it anymore. So he gave it to me, and I was like, bet, I will take it home. I had to fix like one thing on it, so I bought the part and fixed it. And sadly, it went down maybe about a year ago. It went down, and I was using the old folding chair for a while. So y'all heard the clicks when I had to scoot forward and all of that. And no more clicks now. No more clicks. And this chair is comfortable, so I won't be, you know, hopping up and down as much and all of that. I like this chair. I'm not gonna lie. So like I said, shout out to Engine. If y'all on Amazon, go check them out. It's got a little footrest too, so I'm thinking about picking up another one, especially with it being deal day on Amazon. I'm thinking about picking up another one and putting that up in my room for when I'm gaming. Oh yeah, go up into the gaming room. Might have to get another one of those. So that's not what we're here for. Y'all see the title. We talking about the NBA draft today. We're gonna talk about some of the teams and what they have done. But I found something first I want to react to. We're doing live reactions tonight as well. So y'all check this out right quick. I want to react to this. So y'all know I be struggle streaming. I gotta move myself out the way so you can see. But this right here says remain different. Normal is crowded. And you know what? I 1000% agree. When I was coming up, everybody wanted to be normal and everybody wanted to be like everybody else. And it wasn't until I figured out that those were the people who were the most boring. They have nothing to talk about. They have nothing because they all do everything the same. There's no compare, there's no contrast. Be different. You got something you like that not everybody else likes? Fuck them. Who cares? In the words of Bernie Mac, if they don't like you for who you are, fuck them. Hey, truer words were never spoken. But, I find a certain level of just uniqueness to be, refreshing. No, I don't want everybody who's the same, and I'm cool on the hive mind. I'm cool on it. Okay, one more thing before we just get jumping into the videos. But discipline is choosing your future over your impulses. Now, that's a lot easier said than done, right? That's a lot easier said than done. How many of us we make that impulse buy? You know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm guilty. I plead the fifth. Y'all know what I'm saying. But when you're truly focused on your future, when you really want something and you really want, to be a success in your life, you have to choose it over those impulses each and every time. So I just thought that was good. A couple of little motivating things. We are all about motivating each other, motivating ourselves. We build each other up. So I had to start it off with that. You know what I'm saying? Now let's get into some of these videos. I have sent myself a lot of videos to go through. I'm probably not going to get through them all tonight, but we are going to get through some of them. So there's actually one that I was looking for, and I might not have sent that one to myself, and that was talking about the NBA draft. So let me look real quick because I want to pull up the actual post so that I can see the names. You know what I'm saying? And I thought that I had sent it to myself, but apparently I did not. So we are just going to do so right now. And boom. So here they are. This was round one. Round two is tonight. I have not looked at round two yet, so I don't know. But number one, and this was probably one of the more secured number ones that we knew was going to happen. Number one, we got the Washington Wizards drafting AJ DeBansa from BYU. And you know what? I got to say, I like this move. I like this move. I know that AJ was interested in going to Utah because he really was enjoying BYU up there. Um, hey, man, that's not who drafted you, so sorry, but you know, it is what it is. I am I am interested in seeing the how it works out if they're able to keep AD. That's what's going to be real interesting to me. So if they can keep AD, now how does their starting five look? And really, what does that team look like? They have a lot of young guys. I really don't know their roster outside of Trey Young and AD. Um, Sorry, I don't really watch the Wizards. I don't think anybody does. But now they have a player and they have a reason for people to tune in. I think for AJ, he might. I mean, he's happy to go number one. You know, it's always great if you can go number one. He might be wanting to be with a different team. Like I said, he wanted to be with Utah. So who knows how that's, going in his head. But hey, like, it is what it is. You get an opportunity to be on a team where you're going to get a lot of shots. You're going to get a chance to develop and develop pretty quickly. And, you put your head down and you keep everything straight. Could be your team. I mean, Trey Young, he's a seasoned veteran at this point. Same with AD, but they're looking towards the future. And like I said, we don't know if Anthony Davis is even going to stay there. He might be wanting to go to a team where they can win more immediately, but this adds the attraction value of not only the fans, but maybe other players as well. So now you've got, three pretty good pieces. Three pretty good pieces. One of them being a potential up and coming superstar. And from what we saw from AJ DeBansa in college, man, he can ball. He can ball. So I'm looking for him to come into the league and kind of make a name for himself immediately. I think he's going to be at least a 20 points per game type of player. Very athletic and jump out the gym, dunk on everybody. So let's see. We shall see. I'm pretty excited about this move. Now, like I said before, I don't know if Anthony Davis is going to want to stay, and I think that's going to be a key to it. I think that's going to be a key to this team here. If he decides that he wants to stay, I think they could be dangerous, and I think that they could at least make a playoff push in the East. Now, when I say playoff push, I mean actually get to the playoffs. They might be play in where they're like eight, eight or nine. Um, but there's a lot of movement going on right now. There's a lot of movement going on, and I'm also going to talk a little bit about that this evening as well. So, actually, I'm going to adjust my live stream too because um, I meant to put that in there as well. So, excuse me, y'all. I'm struggle streaming. You know how I do. We struggle streaming. But let's move on to the next pick. So, next pick, we had, whoops, we had Darren Peterson. Darren Peterson got picked up by the Utah Jazz. They had the number two pick. And where is he coming from? Oh, shoot. I forget where he's coming from. I want to say Kentucky, But that was a good pickup for them as well. That was a good pickup for them as well. I don't know what they're gonna do with all these guards that they have. Like they have a lot of guards out in Utah. Um, they need to decide what they're gonna do with some of these. Well, what are they gonna do with some of the guards? He's from Kansas. Sorry, y'all. Darren Peterson is from Kansas. I knew it was something with a K. And like I said, another guard. So they've got point guard. They got another shooting guard. He's not going to come over Keontae George, who is the starting guard for the Utah Jazz. He's not. He's probably not going to come before. Well, he might. They might put Ace Bailey on the bench for that. I mean, I don't know. Nah, so you got Ace Bailey as your small forward. Excuse me. Keontae George is their point guard. They got Darren Peterson, but like I said, they're a very guard and then center heavy team, so I'm not really sure how this is going to play out. I'm not really sure, but they do have some. They do have some pieces that they can move. They've got Walker Kessler. I think they want to, develop the team around him. They've got Jaren Jackson Jr. He could be a good 4. And then I don't know what Lauri Markkanen's going to do, but he might be able to stay. They might try to move him. Who knows? My concern is who's going to pick him up for all that money? And what are they going to do with all that money? Because they have to figure something out. They have to figure something out. But who knows? We will see. I think Utah, with them picking up Darren Peterson, that might put them in a position to become a play-in team as well. But the West is so stacked, it's hard to even say that. Like, the West is super stacked. There are so many good teams. You really don't know what's going to happen year by year. And the Timberwolves just got rid of Julius Randle. So we are also waiting on them to see what they're going to do. There's a lot of moving pieces that are happening already. And so this offseason is a little bit nerve-wracking. I'm going to talk about why in a little bit. But this is going to be interesting. This is going to be a very interesting season. So, hey, shout out to them. Shout out to Darren Peterson. Great job getting picked up at number 2. Let's talk about number 3. This one is good, very interesting to me. We have Cam Boozer from Duke being drafted by the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, I like this pickup. Cam Boozer, it gives them a legit 4. He's solid, strong, can dunk. He also can spread the floor a little bit more. He has some pretty decent shooting. They need it too. Shout out to my boy Ty Jerome, who's down there. Wish he was still with the Cavs, brother, but that's okay. And I am kind of wondering, with this pickup of Cam Boozer, is Memphis going to keep Ja? Is Memphis going to keep Ja Morant, or what they going to do then? What are they going to do now? Because, I mean, a lot of chatter is going on saying that, hey, he's gone, they're moving on, and they want to rebuild. But at the same time, you just pick up a piece like Cam Boozer. You see if you can keep Ja. Maybe you get one other player. You might have a little bit of a squad. Are they going to be atop the West? Probably not. But, even when it was just Ja, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Desmond Baines, they found a way to compete in the West for a long time. And I think what really messed them up, they got rid of their coach like 2 weeks 2 weeks before the playoffs or something weird like that. Them in Denver, man, they did some weird stuff like before the playoffs 2 years ago, and it translated into them both teams not doing much. So I really think if they're able to keep Ja, it might be interesting. It might be interesting. Now, if you're able to move Ja, what kind of pieces are you looking to get back? Who could you get back? I've heard some chatter about Boston being interested, and they've got some things going on because they entered into another trade that it didn't happen, but it might have caused some friction with some of the players. I'm gonna talk about that in a minute as well. But we're going to see. This is interesting right now. This is interesting right now with a number of players wanting to be gone from their teams, wanting to move on, and then a couple of other big moves have taken place. So teams are trying to match up with each other and all these other things. Who knows? So we gonna talk about it. We gonna talk about it, and I'll probably talk about it again some point either this weekend or something like that as the days goes on because I want to see what happens. I'm very interested. Not a whole bunch of parts have moved yet, but you can tell they're on the way. It's one of those situations where you're like, yeah, I can see this. Okay, so I'm checking in the chat room right now. Hey, shout out to Fanbow Fanbow podcast. He said my Warriors draft Yaxel Ledenborg at 11. This is a great pickup for us. I agree with that. I really agree with that. So we're here now with the comment. So I'm gonna skip down to 11 right quick. Um, as he was saying, the Golden State Warriors picked up. Whoops, I'm struggle streaming, y'all. They picked up Yaxel Lendenborg. I'm sorry, I butchered that name. Yaxel Lendenborg. That's homie from Michigan. Just came back from the Michigan championship where they won the national championship, and he was a major contributor. And here's the thing, man. And this is the thing about Golden State. Golden State over the past couple of years, they have been able to wiggle their way into making some good draft picks. It doesn't always seem like it makes sense, right? It doesn't always seem like it makes sense, but they have been making some noise with these draft picks, and I like this one. He's Yaxel is like 6'9", forward, rebounds very well, and is very athletic. I think that he's going to be good for producing for them, especially with um, Porzingis. I think Porzingis will still remain on the roster, and you never know what's going to happen with Kristaps. Sometimes he's injured, sometimes he's not. You know, I don't think he's played a full season yet. I really don't. I don't think Kristaps has played a full season yet. And although he's tall enough to be a center, he's not really like a true center. But here's the thing. With Yaxel, you've got him coming in, and yeah, Fanball. Just like you said, he's 6'9". He's got a 7'4" wingspan. You've got somebody who he can fill in that role a little bit, right? He can fill in that role a little bit. Like I said, he's super athletic, long wingspan. So even though he's not as tall as Kristaps, they can either play side by side, where they're now a kind of two big tandem, or when Kristaps comes out, you got a guy who can give you quality minutes. Now, is he going to be doing the exact same things as Kristaps? Probably not. But you now have another guy who can, you know, fill in some of that spots where you've got the old guys. Because Golden State still got Al Horford, and he is old. They got Draymond Green, and Draymond Green looked like he's thinking about retirement. I'm not saying he's, about to quit, but he's a couple years away. But now, like I said, now you've got a guy who can come in, give them some quality minutes, and they can get the rest that they need. So then when they come back into the game, they're fresh. Now, this move that Golden State made a while, this was, I don't remember if this was last year or the year before last. Them getting rid of Kevon Looney, I thought was a huge mistake. And with this draft pick, I think that he can be not necessarily that Kevon Looney player, but give you that type of energy. So Kevon Looney was like one of their energy guys. He had a calm demeanor, but he was one of their energy guys. Get you a lot of offensive rebounds, things like that. I think that's what Yaxel Lundenborg can do. Lindenborg. Sorry, sorry for butchering the name, but yeah. So they picked him up at 11. Sorry, I skipped around y'all, but hey, I'm answering the comments in here. But like I said, I definitely think that was a good pickup for them. And this is making things interesting, man. This is making things interesting. We're seeing a changing of the guard. We getting some fresh blood into the league, and so it's time for these guys to make names for themselves. So I'm very interested in seeing what's going on. All right, let's get on to the next pick. So at number 4, we got Caleb Wilson from UNC going to the Chicago Bulls. Now, I don't really know much about players from UNC because I don't watch them that much. I have to plead the fifth on that. I am a Cameron crazy at heart. Shout out to my Dukies. Um, just a little fun fact, that was where one of my family members attended school, so I got some family ties to Duke, so I can never really be too happy with UNC. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to Caleb Wilson getting drafted, and I think he is going to be great for the Bulls. The Bulls needed another big man, especially after they got rid of Vucevic last year, and them getting Caleb Wilson. He's 6'10". I think he could either be a forward or play the center. Um, in college, he was listed as a forward, but he is another guy who can just jump out of the gym. I mean, dude got bounce. Now he can refine some of his skills a little bit, but dude got bounce. Okay, back in the chat real quick. Shout out to Fan Bao. You a Golden State Warriors fan, Raiders fan, A's fan, Detroit Red Wings, and USC fan. Okay. I like some of those teams. I'm a fan of Steph Curry. Can't necessarily say the Warriors, but I'm a fan of Steph. I love Klay Thompson back when he was on the team. And it was really that. Now I ain't gonna lie, that was sad to see. I was sad to see Klay go. I was sad to see Klay go. I hope they can work that out to where he comes back, because I thought he kind of got a raw deal in that. He helped them win a lot. We don't call him Game 6 Klay for no reason. And some of the stuff that he did, I would argue, was just as magical as some of the stuff Steph Curry did. Not the exact same, because he's not the number one player. But, man, he carried that squad a lot. And after his injury, it was just sad to see, that he couldn't perform in that same level. And I really just think Klay hit just a little bit of a slump in terms of his shooting. When you coming off 2 years of injury and stuff like that, it's hard to get back to being what you once were. And I don't see Klay as somebody who should ever come off the bench. But like them actually playing with him like that was crazy. telling him he got to come off the bench for Pajimski and stuff. I'm cool. I'm nothing on that one. But anyway, I digress. The Raiders, don't know too much about them. I'm Cleveland Browns, and actually, I lied. I lied. I have since thrown in the towel on the Browns. I am a LA Rams fan. Shout out to the LA Rams. Yes, Clay was my favorite player on the Warriors for sure, for sure. Um, that like 37 points he had in one quarter. I watched that live, and it wasn't. There are very few times where I have been like speechless watching basketball. Michael Jordan was one time. Kobe Bryant was one time. Allen Iverson, Vince Carter, Klay Thompson, like, and Dwayne Wade. But Klay Thompson absolutely speaks. 37 points in a quarter. I don't think he missed a single shot in that quarter. And then it was off of like 11 dribbles, or that was for the whole game. He dropped 60 in that game. Only took 11 dribbles. Like, who does that? Who does that? Klay Thompson does that. That's who. He was a straight baller. So yeah, shout out to Klay. He was my favorite Warrior. He was my favorite Warrior. I thought, and I used to watch Steph all the way back in college, and even watching Steph play in college, right? He You could tell he has the talent, you could tell he has the drive, he has the skills, he has the intangibles, he has all that. It was just when it came down to like uh the big games, sometimes I'm not trying to say he would shrink, right? But even looking at the finals, like the NBA finals, so he's won 4 rings. Deservedly so. He only has one finals MVP. And, well, some might say he deserves two because one of them ones that Kevin Durant got probably should have been Steph's. But, you know, in his MVP seasons, right? I think it was 2015 and 2016. In his MVP seasons, we see him dominate, but then both times when it comes down to that big games in the finals, Steph was a little bit quiet. A little bit quiet. Andre Iguodala got that first finals MVP because he put the clamps down on LeBron, kind of, sort of. But, you know, Steph did not perform super well in that first finals. You know who did? Klay Thompson did. Klay Thompson, Andre Iguodala. It was more of a team thing. So that's why I'm saying, like, Klay was low key my favorite. Klay was low key my favorite on that team. Now I still like Steph Curry because Steph Curry got the shot, man. Steph Curry got the shot, but you can't. Steph Curry is not getting anywhere without Klay in those first, in that first couple years. He's not getting anywhere without Klay. And the problem was, and I think you're starting to see it now, you could not double team Steph and not, have a body on Klay. Because if the ball touches either one of their hands, they can just launch it from anywhere, and they're probably gonna make it. Probably gonna make it. So, but anyway, I have digressed super far. Back to talking about Caleb Wilson. So, like I said, with the Bulls now have a guy who can replace Vucevic a little bit because I don't know. I mean, other than the fact that they were just playing terribly and Vucevic probably wanted to leave, I don't think I don't think that was a good trade for them, trading him to Boston. Now they picked up Anthony Simons, but like I said, the Bulls were a team. They were heavy on the guards and like nobody else. And then in the team that you're building, they were playing pretty well at the beginning of the season last year. Also, Like they were playing pretty well. They were in first place for I think like the first 10 or 15 games, and then I don't know what happened after that. And then they just blew the team up. They traded away Kobe White. They got rid of Vucevic. They got rid of some. I think it was Io DeSumo to the Timberwolves. And it's like, what is like? That's my question for some teams when they're talking about rebuilding. When are you done rebuilding? Like, why do you just scrap everything and then move on to the next? Like, what are we doing? You scrap everything after like a year or two, and then you're like, oh, it's not work. Like, do you not understand player development? Sometimes it takes players a little bit longer than 1-2 years, and it's not like you're trading for anybody to win a championship immediately. Like you're trading for people who make you worse. Like I'm not understanding. So I hope that with this pickup of Caleb Wilson, they can actually start to build something because it's weird. It's weird not having Chicago at least be in the playoffs. Like it's very weird. It's weird having Chicago and they don't have any type of superstar. Like this is just we in the twilight zone with Chicago. I ain't never heard that. So I don't know. But shout out to Caleb Wilson. Hope he does well in this year. Just don't do well against my Cavs. That's all I pray. We're gonna hop back in the chat right quick. Yeah, Golden State versus Boston Celtics. I think Andrew Wiggins should get the Finals MVP over Steph Curry. No. I gotta disagree with you there because Steph was balling. Now Andrew Wiggins was playing. He was balling too. He was hooping. But I think Steph averaged like 30 or something like that. He no. He shot the dagger three in Jaylen Brown's face after Jaylen Brown thought he could guard him, and he was like, "Nah, go home, pack your bags. Game is over." And not only that, but he also that was also the playoffs where Steph really kind of carried them as well. I think that was the year where they went to 7 against Sacramento, if I'm not wrong. And Steph had them light the beam after beating them in game set. Oh yeah, no, Steph got that. Steph definitely earned that one. He earned that one. Wiggins was good, and Wiggins had that highlight dunk. Wiggins had that highlight dunk. Oh man, that was nice. That's all I got to say. That was nice. But nah, Steph, it was all Steph on that one. Now I will say this: shout out to Andrew Wiggins because, like I said, I'm a Cleveland fan. So Cavaliers actually drafted him, and I called this back when it happened, like 2014, 2015. They traded Andrew Wiggins to get Kevin Love. And I know that hurt him because he's like, hey, I'm a number one pick. What you mean you about to trade me like pretty much almost immediately after I get drafted? Like, this is crazy. And he went to Minnesota. I thought he was doing, halfway decent in Minnesota. Maybe not the number one, but he was doing halfway decent. But then he leaves from there, and you know what? He goes on to be productive on another team and make something of himself. I've talked about it before. Sometimes you just got to find the right situation. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Andrew Wiggins, man, because he got him a ring too. And I knew that, I knew he was looking forward to probably playing with LeBron, and that probably hurt. That probably hurt. But he did what he had to do, and he still got him one. So shout out to him. All right. We're going to move on to number 5. The Clippers got Keaton Wagler. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I really don't know much about him. I know that, the Clippers. I know a lot of people thought that Darius Acuff was actually going to get picked up by the Clippers, and he did not. And I think this is because the Clippers got Darius Garland. I think that is the reason why. Darius Garland, he's would you call him a veteran? I wouldn't really call him a veteran. I would say he's seasoned in the game. You know what I'm saying? He's seasoned in the game. I wouldn't really call him a vet, but he's seasoned in the game and he's still young. And I don't think they need to fill that spot with another small guard. So I think they got somebody who can really help them with Keaton Wagler. But, like I said, they're also potentially in a rebuilding phase. You know, um, this is a guy who he's about 6'5". He can probably fill in at that shooting guard spot. Um, I think that he's probably going to come off the bench because they're probably going to have Benedict Mathurin starting at the two. But we'll see. I just think, with them losing James Harden, them losing Zubats, they have to really start rebuilding and fast if they want to do anything. So shout out to Keaton Wagler, you know, made it up to that number 5 spot, and you found yourself a place on the team. Can't be mad at it. So we shall see how that pick plays out. Number 6. Number 6, we got Michael Brown Jr. to the Brooklyn Nets. Now, I do like this pickup. So, the thing with Michael Brown, he is going to fill some spots. He's 6'5". He's going to fill some spots, and this going to give them some depth, but also some length. Pause. Playing with MPJ if MPJ stays. That's Michael Porter Jr. So if he stays, and then, they probably not going to be a real threat in the East at all, but they're going to be a team where they might mess around and do a little something, or at least spoil somebody else's dreams. They could be one of those teams that are like the team that's a seed buster. So like, a team wanted to be in like third, but they lost to Brooklyn too many times, so they dropped down to like 6. That they might be that sort of team. So we'll see. But shout out to him. He got in there at number 6. Whoops. I'm struggle streaming, y'all, but hey, we good. Number 7, we got Darius Acuff to Sacramento. Now, this is pretty interesting. Now, with Darius Acuff going to Sacramento, first of all, who knows what it is that they're doing, truthfully? Who knows what they're doing? They always doing something. I mean, you draft Tyrese Halliburton, let go of him. Now he's a star over in the East. You draft some of these other guys. Who knows what's going on? You got Zach LaVine over there in purgatory. They actually have the makings for a decent team. You got DeMar DeRozan, Russell Westbrook, Zach LaVine. Who's their other guy? I can't think of his name. He's their 3 shooter. I gotta look it up. Domantas Sabonis, Keegan Murray, that's who it is. Keegan Murray, Malik Monk, Precious Achua. What are we doing here? You actually have, on paper, you have a decent squad. They got DeAndre Hunter as well. So on paper, they've got a good squad. But they can't do nothing. They can't do nothing. So I hope that this is good for Darius Acuff, because he might come in and just be a starter, unless they're just going to give the job to Russell Westbrook. But either way it goes, you get to come in and learn under Russell Westbrook. First of all, Russ going to have you in the gym working out. Second of all, you're going to learn about max effort. Max effort. It's not going to be anything less than max. You're going to learn how to go 130 30,000 miles per hour. So I think that's going to be good for him. Russ is known for being the consummate professional. He's known for being a really, really good locker room guy. So, hey, I'm kind of excited for Darius Acuff. I'm kind of excited. So hopefully this leads to something for him. Hey, at least he will be able to get his shot off. At least he'll be able to get his shot off. So we're going to see, You never know with the Kings. And then this could also be a team where, like I said, there's a lot of movement happening in the NBA. So we could see some of these guys from the Kings be moved. I think Domantas Sabonis could be on the move. I definitely think Zach LaVine could be on the move. I think Zach LaVine should be on the move. DeMar DeRozan. DeMar don't deserve to be in Sacramento. Matter of fact, DeMar could potentially let me not say that, but I think DeMar, you bring DeMar to Cleveland. Bring DeMar to Cleveland. Okay, I'm reading a report right now. It says they're expected to waive DeMar DeRozan. Yeah, DeMar, go sign with come sign with Cleveland. Come sign with Cleveland. See what you can do over here. I mean, I know it's not the West Coast. I know you love that, you love California weather and all that. You be riding with Kendrick, but hey, come holler at us. Kendrick did a free concert over here in Cleveland. Kendrick did a free concert over here for us in Cleveland. So hey, come check us out, man. Come holler at us tomorrow. All right, we gonna get on. We gonna move on to number 9. Number 9. Oh, my bad. Number 8. Number 8. Number 8. I'm struggle streaming, y'all. Number 8, we got Kingston Fleming. Kingston Fleming's to the Atlanta Hawks. Now the Hawks get another guard. The Hawks get another guard, and I think this will be good. This will be good because this adds depth. This adds depth to the Hawks team. They desperately kind of need it. So they have C.J. McCollum. They have SGA's cousin, Nikhil Alexander Walker. That's his name. You got Kaminga. You've got Dyson Daniels. You've got Risha Share. Buddy Hield is on the team. Buddy Hield is on the team? Okay. I forgot about that. They've got Gabe Vincent. They need to get rid of Gabe Vincent. They've got Aaron Wiggins. Okay. And so, yeah, I think this will be a very, very good addition for them. I think this will be a very good addition for them. It'll allow the Hawks to get rid of some people like Gabe Vincent. Let go of him. You don't necessarily need him. The starting 5 is cool, but it'll be a good backup for somebody like C.J. McCollum, Dyson Daniels. Get them some quality rest minutes, but also now you've got a player you can develop, right? You got a player who he can give you some good minutes. You might throw him on a little G League team for a couple games, but then bring him back. He'll be a nice two-way for them, and you can really get some things done with Kingston Flemings. He like I said, he adds a little bit more dynamic depth to the team. Hey, shout out to him. All right, let's get on to number 9. Number 9, we got Morez Jr. Morez. My bad. I'm butchering names today. Morez Jr. to the Dallas Mavericks. Now, I think this is kind of an interesting pickup. I think this shows that Dallas might be thinking about making some changes to who they have on their roster. Yeah, Morez, he's 6'9", forward, he's been described as kind of playing like Daniel Gafford. Not as tall as Gafford, but similar abilities. Can rebound the ball, great athleticism, getting the ball and just dunking. And so I think it'll show that he can be that backup center or backup forward, and Dallas can kind of maybe let go of Gafford. Yeah, I don't even see him being listed on the team right now. Oh yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. But this is another depth piece. You've got PJ Washington at power forward. You've got they got Chris Middleton too. You've got Derek Lively. So you really just need some of those guys who can come in for you, get you those quality minutes, and you try to build off of that. Like I said, I think this shows that they might be looking to make some moves. They have some pieces who they can utilize to attract other players, or if they just don't want to pay all like that, they can free up some of their cap space by getting rid of a couple of guys. So this is a good move for them. You get a more rebounding power forward or backup center. With him being 6'9", I'd probably say power forward. Not really sure how good of a shooter he is, but he is a big body. Pause. 250 pounds. You're not going to be able to move him just super easily. So we are going to see on that one. Real quick, shout out to everybody who has joined the stream. Hey, if you joined the stream, leave some comments. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you think about some of these draft picks. This is going to be an interesting year. Now, I want to say shout out to the Indiana Pacers right quick, and shout out to 520 Podcast. Y'all ain't getting no picks. Y'all ain't getting no pick, not even one. And that is odd and a shame, because they were like the worst team in the league. But on to number 10. We got Braden Burries going to the Milwaukee Bucks. And this is where I want to pause. I already talked about 11, so I'm going to pause and make sure I take a tangent here. We are going to talk about the trade that just happened with Milwaukee. Milwaukee traded away Giannis Antetokounmpo, and they traded him for Tyler Hero, Khalil Ware, and some others. Hold on, I'm going to pull it up. So that I get it completely right. But the Giannis Antetokounmpo trade, it was Giannis and Bobby Portis to the Heat for Tyler Hero, Khalil Ware, Jaime Jaquez Jr., Kasparas Yakasionis. I hope I didn't butcher that. 3 first-round picks, a pick swap, and a second-round pick. Now, first of all, I want to know, Giannis, is Thanasis going to be in Miami? That is the real question. Is TA going to be in Miami? Who knows? We are going to find out. If we know anything about Pat Riley's probably like, nah, bruh. No family on the team playing. But who knows? You might see Thanasis in black and red. We don't know. But the interesting thing about this Giannis trade is that Milwaukee low-key won in this. Like, okay, yeah, you just gave up a generational talent, probably one of the best players that Milwaukee has had since Kareem. Brought them a championship, won two MVPs with the team and all of that. And, hey, Giannis did what he had to do to become a great player for that team. And shout out to him. But, I think that I think that Milwaukee might have won in this trade. The Miami Heat, they got Giannis and Bobby Portis, and those are two. Giannis is a generational player. Bobby Portis is a great player, great bench player, backup who can come in the game, get you, a lot of good points. He reminds me of like, and I hope I'm not trying to sound disrespectful when I say this. I'm just saying this in terms of stardom and play and all of that. He reminds me of like great value Kevin Garnett. He's the energy guy. You look at him, you're like, man, that dude's a little bit crazy, but he has a great jump shot, great mid range jump shot, plays hard on defense, will get a couple blocks and things like that and get you valuable rebounds and minutes. But he's not like, and I said great value because he's not starting, but he has found a good role in being like the sixth man, and no shade, nothing like that. But this is where, shit, Milwaukee got like almost 10 pieces. Got almost 10 pieces in return for two. They they won this. And then with the Braden Burries, you got somebody who's coming from Arizona, which is a NCAA basketball powerhouse. You've got Tyler Hero, who they may look to shop, who they can then get more pieces for. Khalil Ware. Khalil Ware now helps to fix their center problem because he's like baby Wimby. Jaime Jaquez, and Jaquez be balling. I don't think I really watch Kasparas play too much. But then you got, these three first round picks and second rounder. That puts them in pretty good position, at least when it comes to rebuilding and rebuilding immediately. Like they are rebuilding as of this year. Now, does that mean we about to see them in the playoffs? Who knows? They could. I will say this though, they could make it in the playoffs as like that, early 2000s type of Detroit team. If they can, get some guys who are going to be good for them on defense, they could make it in where they're a team who plays by committee. You know what I mean? They don't have necessarily a star, but you got, you know, three, four guys who are getting you in between 17 and like 25 points per game. Now, that might help them at least get into maybe like a seventh seed. So, like I said, you never know. Now, what does this mean for Miami going forward? Miami now has Giannis, and I'm not gonna lie, Miami look kind of scary. Miami look kind of scary now because they got Giannis. You know, they now have a generational talent. They have Bam Adebayo, who he was hooping. He tied Kobe um, with the 82 points, or did he get 83? Let me see. He had 83, so he beat out Kobe's 82 or 81, one of the two. So you got Bam, and Bam can ball. Bam can ball. Now, I wouldn't say that his shooting is the best, and that's where I think Miami is going to have to figure that out, because what do they do now to get some shooting? They've got Andrew Wiggins. He's a great slashing forward. You got Norman Powell, and Norman Powell he's been shooting that thing pretty good lately over these past couple of years. Are they able to keep him? Who knows? But, they need some bona fide shooters around them. And then they finish it off the starting five with Davion Mitchell. That might do something. It's just their bench. All they got is Bobby Portis, and that is it. Like, I don't know who else is going to do anything for them. So they're going to have to make some other moves. Now, I've heard that they want to get into seeing what's up with John Morant. Now, the question is, who do you keep on the team? Do you let go of Norman Powell and try to get Ja, or package him up with Davion Mitchell, or package him up with a bunch of these bench players? But once again, now you got to answer the question of who's gonna play for you coming off the bench. And I think if they were to go after Ja, it doesn't fix the other problem of who's gonna shoot the basketball. You now are like a team of slashers. And I don't see Bam just sitting on the three all day. So who knows what they're going to do? We shall see. Now, like I said before, it looks like the Bucks are looking to shop some players as well. They might be looking to shop somebody like Tyler Hero. They might look to shop somebody like Khalil Ware, or shop Miles Turner. Miles Turner did not have the greatest year last year. He did all right, but it was nothing like that year in Indiana. So I don't know if they're looking to keep him either. We'll see on that one. Jury's out. I have no idea. So we shall see. I want to go through. I think that, okay, I've been through 11 of the picks. So I think I'm going to pause there on the NBA draft part of the stream. I've been on for about an hour, so I want to get into some of the reactions. I'll come back and talk about some of the other picks as well, because I did want to touch on the picks made by the Thunder and the Spurs. I think I'll do that in the next live stream, and I'll make sure that that is this week. I'm either going to do a stream tomorrow or Friday. I'm also going to be doing a recording over this weekend because we got to get back into our emotional intelligence series. I've been working on my notes for that. The next chapter has been long, so that's why it's kind of taken me a while, and I've had some stuff going on in the background that I'm working on. I'm also going to talk about what I've been doing. So, as things progress, I'm going to let y'all know, but I'm going to be working here. I'm gonna be working, so I wanna hop into some of the other things just to react to those, because I did promise some reactions and some little Juneteenth stuff. So here we go. So here we have, and we gonna listen to his clap out.
23-year-old Daniel Cressy became the first person in Louisiana to be functionally cured of sickle cell disease through gene therapy.
So I want to say, hey, congratulations to this young man right here. We love to see it. We love to see these are the positive, advancements in medicine that we love to hear about. Shout out to him. He is now the first person in Louisiana to be functionally cured of sickle cell using gene therapy. So that means that when they go and test his blood does not produce any more red blood cells containing sickle cells. So they're not shaped like a sickle. And this is awesome. This is awesome. And this was done by using his own stem cells. So before, some of the treatments that were used, they would use donor stem cells. And I'm going to go back to talking about Cameron Boozer and his twin, Caden. Cameron and Caden Boozer, they were actually, when people have kids, they have kids because they want to have kids, but also they were born to help save their older brother's life. Their older brother, I don't remember his name off the top of my head. I want to say it's Kamari. Kamari, he has sickle cell. And so, they were seeing what some of the options were to try and get some help for him. And they were looking for genetic matches so that they could do blood transfusions for Kamari so that he could live a healthier life. And um, both the Boozer parents were not genetic matches, so they could not do those transfusions for him. And so they turned to looking at IVF and having more children. And so when this happened, found out that two of the eggs that they uh, fertilized or whatever were genetic matches. They were advised to have both of those children so that, you know, they had higher probability. And here we are. We see them as now one is going to the NBA from Duke. That is Cameron Boozer. And the other one, I don't know if he declared for the draft or not, but he also played at Duke. That was Caden. And their older brother, Kamari, is functionally sickle cell free as well because he received stem cells from the two of them. So I just thought that was a great story. You know, you never know how you're going to be used in this life. You never know what your purpose is, but also when you serve your purpose, you are rewarded. Now, yes, they come from good genetics. Carlos Boozer used to play in the NBA, but as we see with their older brother, that's not guaranteed. You know, and they were born to help, but now they get a chance to live out their own personal dreams by playing basketball and things like that. And you know, how great of a feeling is it to know that coming into the world, you were able to help your family out? Like, that's awesome. I just thought that was a great story. So I wanted to share that right quick with you all. And yeah, we can move on. We can move on. Sorry, I am looking for my I'm looking for my video here. I'm gonna take it back to the Knicks right quick. So in my last live, I talked about how Jalen Brunson, he was getting all the last laughs, right? I talked about that because he was doubted by everybody. He was doubted by everybody. Well, Jalen Brunson kept his receipts, and so did his teammates, and they they talked to everybody about it. And so here is one of the people eating their words.
Wait, I have a comment. Oh, to start. I was wrong. I was wrong. My opinion was wrong. Okay, let's go. Wait, I have a comment. Oh, to start.
So that was Becky Hammond, and she was talking about her initial thoughts on Jalen Brunson. I believe she was asked in an interview or something like that, or she might have been asked just about something else. And I know that she has some harsh, what some people would say, some harsh things to say about him. And you know, she was one of the people where they were like, "Yeah, you gonna have to eat those words for sure. For sure, you're gonna have to eat those words." So that's what I wanted to show y'all about that, because here's the thing: people can doubt you all they want, and all you do is sit back, don't even listen to them. Put your feet, you know, to the grindstone. Put your work in, and then you prove them wrong with your success, and then they have to eat their words on the back end. And everybody had to eat their words on the back end with that, because hey, Jalen Brunson is a champion now, and he led the team. So I'm gonna show another video of somebody eating their words.
I had some receipts. You know, this is not word for word, but I think the quote was, they don't have any real NBA prospects on that team. So I think we had that. Sure. After that, we had some good banter this season.
Yeah.
With you had a good little Mikal rant where, you know, Mikal had a little bit of a rant. A little bit of a struggle in the middle of the season. Obviously, that's my dog, so I come to his defense. I think you might have told me to be the hell quiet and shut up and go somewhere, but can you sit here and admit that you were wrong?
Say what?
I said, can you sit here and admit you were wrong?
I can't hear you. Actually.
You were
Apologize.
wrong.
Y'all. Hold on. Let him hold on.
Let him talk.
I'm a grown ass man. I was beyond wrong.
Okay, there we go.
I apologize to this brother on national television. I'm apologizing to you. I'm apologizing to the entire Knicks organization.
I had some receipts.
Shout out to Stephen A. Smith. I want to say, look, if you need to apologize, first of all, shout out to the Knicks because they pulled up on Stephen A. Smith and they did it perfectly. You know, a lot of the times, especially with people who are doing interviews and things like that, they have them sit, you know, on one side and then the team will sit on the other side. They was like, no, Stephen A., you sit in the middle next to Jalen, and we going to have Cat sit on one side and Josh Hart sit on the other side, and you just chill right there. And then they surrounded him. You can't escape. You can't escape now. You can't escape now. And, you know, it was just funny to watch. It was funny to watch. But I will say this. I think Stephen A. handled it very well. You know, it like he said, he a grown-ass man. It takes a grown-ass man to know when he is wrong and to know when he needs to apologize. And he ate those words for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If anybody knows Stephen A. is a New York Knicks fan. So for him to come out and, you know, go on those rants talking about Jalen Brunson and why did the Knicks even pick him up? He's not a number one player and all those sorts of things. And then, you know, then come in and have to eat that on the back end. Oh, that was a big old slice of humble pie. So, hey, shout out to him. He did it right. All right. I'm back here in the chat. We got Amberg 9996. Not gonna lie, the second round there might be some sneaky free agents now because GM throw players around in the second round. No, you're right. You're right. And I'm like I said, I'm very interested to see the player movement that takes place this year. I'm very interested. I want to see where guys land because there's a lot of guys that are not happy right now, including breaking news, Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown might not be a happy camper with what took place with the Boston Celtics. Now, I did say I was going to talk about this. So, we saw that Giannis went to the Miami Heat, and, you know, it was reported that it was between a couple of teams that where he was going to go, but it was no secret that the Boston Celtics were in discussions to try and get Giannis. And we all know that they're not getting rid of Jason Tatum. So who was in the trade talks? One Jaylen Brown. Now, this is coming off of this last year where Jason Tatum sat because of the injury, and everybody counted the Celtics out. Everybody thought the Celtics, all right, hey, y'all going to be all right. Y'all might make the playoffs. Y'all might be like the 8 seed, 7 seed, but they're not really going to do much. And Jaylen Brown played his ass off. Jaylen Brown was out there hooping, and he took on that number one role, but he also did it successfully and made sure that they were doing something. He took the Celtics to number 2 in the East, and although they ran out of steam in the playoffs, they made it through the first round pretty easily, and you know they were really doing something. They were really doing something. So you said you feel like Boston fans want too much for JB, that might fall them. I don't know though, Because, see, I think what they offered might not have been enough for Milwaukee. Milwaukee, in that trade, Milwaukee was looking to trade with a team who they could get a lot from so that they could rebuild. They want to rebuild, and it's like the Saudi ex girlfriend or the Saudi ex boyfriend. When you break up with them and then they run out and they're like, well, if you leaving me, I got to go and have a new spouse immediately, and they got to be better than you and better than this and all of that. And you know, that's what it seems like with Milwaukee. They didn't really want to let go of Giannis. They wish that he wanted to stay, but then, all right, well, he wants to leave, so we got to get a lot back. And so, they got a lot back from Miami, and they were not going to get that much back from Boston. Boston is looking at it like, hey, we got Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown just came off of his best season, even with Jason Tatum, sitting out. And then he brought us to the second in the East. So they were looking to do like more of a one for one type of trade deal, or like 1-for-1, and then they might get a pick or two. They weren't going to get like almost a whole team back. And Miami was like, hey, F them picks. You can have them. Here you go. Here's everybody. So I think that's what made Miami more attractive to Milwaukee. But now Boston is like, you're leaving bad taste in Jaylen Brown's mouth. And we know Jaylen Brown it's not that he's sensitive, right? It's more like he keeps receipts too. All right, I'm going to come back to the other things you said in the chat. You said, Noam Yakov might be a underrated one. I'm not sure who that is. I don't know who he is. He averaged 20 points and 8 assists in Belgium. Not drafting him feel like a scam. Yeah, once again, I don't know who he is. 20 points sounds, 20 points anywhere sounds good. But how does that translate to the NBA? That's what I would say. Search his highlights. He pretty decent. Okay, I'll check him out. I'll check him out after this stream. I'll see. I'll see what he got. But like I said, 20 points especially overseas, it's a little bit tougher to gauge. You got guys like Luka and Jokic and things like that. They played overseas. Luka especially, but Luka started playing pro ball at like some crazy age. He was playing at like 13, 14, playing pro ball. So like, you kind of saw that was going to translate. And at first, teams didn't think it was going to translate either, because remember, Atlanta did a trade swap for him for Trae Young. And we see how that went. So you never know. You just never know. And with this being, the second round, you really never know. So, hey, I hope he does well. But I don't know. Okay, next, you said apparently Hornets are actively trying to trade LaMelo. Yeah, I can see that. I don't know where LaMelo would go. The thing about LaMelo is, right, LaMelo is a great player. But I think LaMelo is just a little bit too goofy sometimes. He makes a lot of goofy mistakes. And he's a highlight reel for sure. But when you're looking to really make a push in those playoffs and things like that, you don't have time for goofy mistakes. You really don't. Now, I'll give you an example. That play-in game where it was like 9 versus 10, and you saw LaMelo do something. He committed like a stupid foul where I think Miami was able to shoot free throws and come back. And then they went into overtime or something like that. But then LaMelo saved the day at the end of the game. It's like, okay, yeah, you saved the day at the end of the game, but like, they wouldn't have had to do all that if you didn't foul. It's those types of situations. I'm not doubting his talent, because his talent is there. It's just, you have to be able to produce on both sides of the ball. So yeah, I agree when you say, he's lazy on defense. That is a huge problem, but also it's those intangibles. It's the mentality. It's sometimes the effort. You've got to be locked into the game for 48 minutes. And when you're not, it shows. This is why there are teams that, they don't make it. This is why there are guys who they can be those 20, 25 points per game scorers, and it doesn't add up to much because they're not going anywhere. LaMelo's been in the league, what, 6 years at this point? 7 years? Maybe? And I think they've only been have they even been in like a full playoff series? They've only made it to the playoffs because they've been a play-in team. If I'm the coach, I'm like, look, we want you here, but we need it to start to translate into something. Because, like I said, on paper, that squad should be like at least sixth on paper. They should at least be sixth. And you've got teams like Toronto, where Toronto's got a lot of unknown people, and they're just playing team basketball, winning by committee. LaMelo has the talent and the potential to be a real superstar, but he's got to take it to that next level. Skipping out on layups to go out and shoot a three. That's like some Coach Carter's type stuff. And that's why that team was losing when Coach Carter first got there. Has anybody seen Coach Carter? Let me know in the chat. Anybody seen that movie? I might be aging myself, but there was a player on Coach Carter's team, and instead of just making the easy layup, he went and shot a three, and he got benched. And that's LaMelo ball. That is exactly LaMelo. When I saw that play, I was watching that game live. When I saw that, I was like, hey, yo, why didn't he just take the layup? Like, you was wide open for it. And I mean, you took the three, and there was no, like, it wasn't, oh, you're down two and you going for the win or anything like that. No, you literally just gave up a wide open layup. Now, he made the three, so I had to shut up. But, like, I was scratching my head. I was like, huh? I don't know. I didn't get that one. But, yeah. He said, I feel like the NBA team's biggest problem is the space is so bigger and the rules protect the attack too much. I mean, yeah, but here's the thing. Like, this ain't college. You know what I'm saying? This ain't college. This ain't, in LaMelo's case, this ain't high school. This ain't overseas. You are now in the NBA with other professionals. It's your job, literally, you get paid millions of dollars. It's your job to put in the effort. It's not, oh, they protect it'd be one thing if he got a bunch of fouls, they protect the attack too much. Nah, he don't play defense like that. And when you play lazy, when you get burned, it doesn't amount to anything. So I can't just say that's the league's fault. Jalen Brunson, for example, one of the shortest guys on the court, especially in the NBA Finals. Do you think he was protected against Wemby? Hell no. But guess what? He took it to the rack on Wemby. He put Wemby on skates. He made Wemby turn around. He gave Wemby little shoulders and his kneecaps, all that, so he could score the ball. And then when it came down to the other side, he made sure he wasn't a liability. We know he's not the, tallest player. He's not the best on defense. But he was just like, look, I'm not gonna be a liability. So even if I got a foul or something, that's what I'm gonna do. And that's the difference between somebody like him and LaMelo. LaMelo, I've seen like a couple steals from LaMelo, but I ain't never seen him lock nobody down on defense. I ain't seen too many blocks from LaMelo. Everything I see is offense. And that's cool. That's cool. But once again, if you are on a team and you actually want to do something, you're going to have to start playing a little bit, a little bit more on both sides of the ball. At least the effort going to have to be there. You don't have to get beat. I would say the same thing for Luka Doncic. Luka is kind of trash on defense, kind of trash. That was why Boston was able to beat them so bad. They was like, hey, just go at Luka. If Luka guards you, give him the ball. I remember one play, I think they had Luka trying to guard like Al Horford or something, just so they could, Dallas could utilize their defense on everybody else. And Boston was like, no, we'll just give Al Horford the ball. He could take it on Luka. And see, that's the thing, when you don't play defense, and especially when you don't even try, oh, you're getting singled out every time. You're getting singled out every time. We saw that with James Harden this year. Now, Kenny Atkinson, he almost pissed me off. He was up there. I think he's one of our better defenders. What games you watching? Because he definitely got cooked 12 points in a row by Jalen Brunson. But I have digressed enough. All right, we back here in the chat. When you watch a EuroLeague game, you will understand. Not like they ain't professional. Let the foul and play physical and more. Not talking about LaMelo. Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. I'm just saying like with the NBA itself is a different level because it is a step up from playing in high school, playing in college. You might think that the EuroLeague is on par with the NBA, but it's a reason that it's called the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Like, no matter what we want to say, this is the pinnacle of play. That's what I mean. And yes, they want to make it more exciting, so they do protect the players who attack the hole and all of that. But that don't mean that you can't play any defense. You know what I'm saying? That don't mean you can't play no defense. And a lot of the times, that's what you see from some of these guys, especially who are trying to be superstars. They think being a superstar is just all about getting buckets. And it's like, I mean, yeah, there's preferential treatment to the guys who can score a lot of points. But that's not all that makes a superstar. Especially when it comes to the things like winning championships, getting to the playoffs, being a perennial playoff team. It's not just about, all right, I get buckets. You want some of those guys on your team, of course. Of course. But if we were to look at LaMelo, like, let's talk about his year that he had, right? LaMelo had an up and down year. I think he had a little bit of an injury during the year. I'm not exactly sure. But he had an up and down year. He was in and out the lineup. At one point, he was, coming off the bench. And I think that was really good because it kind of humbled him at least a little bit to the point where he's like, all right, now I gotta play a lot more. You know what I'm saying? So it turned his effort around a bit. And so that's kind of what I mean when I'm like, you have to be putting in that max effort on both sides of the ball, especially if you want to get somewhere. Now, if you just want to get stats and have highlight tapes and be a fan favorite, hey, that's cool too. But once again, even the fans, they're going to be like, all right, we see you making these threes, these one-legged shots, these flashy passes, but now we want to win some games. All right, you said the problem, a lot of Americans discredit the EuroLeague so much is crazy. If they had some money as the NBA, there will be crazy competition. Yeah, but also it's not that Americans are discrediting the EuroLeague, because the EuroLeague it's pretty competitive, and you see that when you get into things like the FIBA and all of that. it's just, you know, once again, NBA is the cream of the crop, man. It is what it is. It is the cream of the crop. And you said not on par, not now at least. Yeah. But like I said, NBA is the cream of the crop. The thing that you see with the overseas guys, the guys who go over this overseas are the ones, not all of them. I want to make that clear, not all of them, but a lot of it is either guys who did not originally make it to the NBA. You get a lot of guys who were in the NBA and then they, were waived or something like that. You get a lot of guys who they were in the NBA and then they didn't want to retire from basketball completely. You get a lot of guys, who they want to stay in their home country. I'm not saying that it can't compete with the NBA at all, but what I'm saying is NBA is still considered the cream of the crop. It's still considered the cream of the crop, and that you got a lot of EuroLeague guys who now they're starting to get higher in the draft. Just like you said, but it's not. It like I said, it's not to put the EuroLeague down at all. All I'm saying is, especially in the case of LaMelo, it's like, okay, what LaMelo did overseas and what LaMelo did in high school was light work. It was easy. But now you're in the NBA where you're with the cream of the crop. You're with the cream of the crop. So, those things that you did over there, you might not be able to do them as easily over here. Same with the guy who you were talking about from Belgium. I'm like, okay, he's got 20 points a game in Belgium. I don't know what that translates to in the NBA. 20 points in Belgium might not be 20 points in the NBA. Now, especially with him being somebody who got drafted in the second round. Now, am I guaranteeing that he's going to be, bad? No, because we never know. I'm just saying. Okay, so you said Luka's a great example. Luka is a great example. But here's the difference between Luka. Luka was damn near a veteran when he got drafted into the NBA. We talking about a guy who was playing pro basketball for like, 3, 4, 5 years already? That's a whole different breed. So once again, he's over there playing with grown men for a long time before getting drafted. So whole different thing. And then Luka don't play defense either. Luka don't play defense either. And that's why he got picked apart in the championship. You said Luka went third in the draft. He did. And he was MVP in the EuroLeague. Okay. But once again, like, we're talking about outliers. Luka is an outlier. Luka is not, he's not dude from Belgium getting drafted in the second round. He was number 3. You know what I'm saying? Or look at somebody. Here's another good example. Look at somebody like Risha Sher. Risha Sher's having an up and down first couple years in the NBA. Now, his team made it to the playoffs, but he's having a little bit of up and down. And I think he can hoop a little bit. Maybe he might not be in the right situation in Atlanta, but he's coming from the EuroLeague, I believe. And like I said, good player, but what is it translating to? So that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I think LaMelo played for like Lithuania or something like that for like 1 year and then came over here to the NBA. NBA, yeah, but when they pick someone in Australia who did 8 points in the G League, it seems disrespectful. Who you talking about? You like what player? Because I don't know who they did with that. I don't know who they did with that. Um, Mm-mm. All right, I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna pull up this little meme right quick. This was funny. This was funny. So they was talking about and one made a post about Jose Alvarado. Jose Alvarado. Now this is probably the shortest player who played in the finals, right? And he played for the Knicks, and he's the Knicks energy guy, and he actually went at Wemby a couple of times, and he played like he wasn't afraid at all. And they said, imagine being tall for no reason, and they got Jose shooting over Wemby. Jose made this shot too. And I'm not gonna lie, if Wemby had jumped like sooner, he might have got that, but he didn't. So now he's a meme.
Alvarado
Here's the shot.
wanted to use Towns. Little miscommunication. Pulls up, jump shot, got it. Guarded by Wemby. A whistle and a foul. How about Jose Alvarado talking about fearless?
Yeah, fearless.
Alvarado
I don't even know if he's 6 feet tall.
wanted to use Towns. Little miscommunication.
Good
Pulls
shot.
up, jump
I had to
shot,
play it
got
again right quick.
Guarded by Wemby. A whistle and a foul.
Okay, hold on.
How about Jose Alvarado?
Yeah, I had to play that again right quick. It says some people see 7'4". Jose sees a mismatch. I love that. That is hilarious. That is hilarious. Look at him guarding Wemby. Trying to guard Wemby at least. Get out of here, Wemby. You ain't doing nothing against Jose. I love it. I love it. So once again, shout out to the Knicks. They got the championship. I just thought that was cool. That was funny. That was real funny. All right, so I'm gonna end it there on the sports side of the game. I want to talk about Juneteenth again, right quick. So as I was saying before, Juneteenth, that is the day representative of when black folks were truly and completely free from slavery. I'm reading a post right now. It said on this day, so that would have been June 19th, 1865, General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas. Shout out to Galveston, and announced the end of slavery in the former Confederate States, an event that is now celebrated as Juneteenth. So I know I'm a couple of days behind, but I wanted to say happy Juneteenth to everybody. I was actually out enjoying myself and enjoying the Juneteenth festivities. So that's why I didn't hop on the stream, but I wanted to make sure that I showed some stuff and reacted to some stuff related to Juneteenth on my next stream. So shout out to all the black folks out there, including myself, Black King as it may be. Just playing though with y'all. But yeah, so we're going to end it out by going through a couple of these, and then I'm going to end the show. Hey, this is my longest streams to date as well. So big congratulations to myself. Celebrate the small things, small victories. I'm gonna have to do that without the sound. I don't want to get flagged. But yeah, let's go through that post right quick. Hey, if you are all still watching, what did y'all do for Juneteenth? And I'm cool with it if you just had work off. If you were off from work and that was it, me too. So, hey, I hope everybody got a chance to enjoy themselves. I hope everybody got a chance to celebrate. Happy Juneteenth. I know we a couple days behind, but hey, you know what? We should get the whole month anyway. All right. This one, love black lives like you love black culture. I don't need to say nothing else. Y'all know what it means. Y'all know what it means. This one is actually for my Clevelanders as well. Cleveland wouldn't be Cleveland without black culture. Now, I want to take a second to go through these. So, excuse me, music, art, food, and activism. Black Clevelanders have shaped the city we know today. Neighborhoods like Huff, Glenville, Fairfax, Central, Mount Pleasant, and beyond have been centers of creativity, entrepreneurship, culture, and community for generations. And that is true all the way to today. That is true all the way to today. When people ask me, oh, what's so great about Cleveland? I have a lot to say. We have bomb food, some of the best food, great art. Our art museum is actually ranked pretty high. Same with our natural history museum. Now, I put that up there in the art section as well. Um, Music, we are world renowned for music. Got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We've got artists who have come through here. Shout out to Tri-C, Cuyahoga Community College, because they actually have one of the few state-of-the-art recording studios within this part of the country. We have had numerous artists come through and record there in their recording studio. And I actually just learned that. I just learned that maybe my last time at Tri-C. And shout out to them once again, because that was where I went before transferring to the four-year university that I went to finish out college. So I thought that was a pretty interesting fact to learn. But also, hey, you never know what goes on in your own city. So learn more about where you live and be proud of where you live. Shout out to all the activists who have come, or who are from Cleveland and have come through Cleveland. I want to take this time, shout out to my grandmother. My grandmother was an activist in Cleveland, well known, and she did so early on in her career. One of the few female entrepreneurs back in the 1950s and 60s. She had her own column in the Column Post. She wrote many works for the Plain Dealer. She did all sorts of activism things, and we actually have pictures of her with some other famous activists. Maybe if I can get permission to put them up, I might put some up in some of my recorded videos. I have to ask some family if that's cool. But a lot of great things have come from Cleveland. Shout out to Garrett Morgan. Garrett Morgan is from Cleveland. If you don't know about Garrett Morgan, go and look him up. But this is what it's all about. It's all about celebrating the culture, celebrating where you come from, celebrating who you are. Juneteenth is a celebration and a reminder of freedom, culture, resilience, creativity, family, community, and all the works that continue today. So this was just some things that there were to do out there. Juneteenth. Hey, I hope everybody had fun. I hope everybody was safe as well. Do that while I get to my next thing. I hope you all had a good time. I hope you all enjoyed the stream tonight. I had a great time with it. Some of these, I'm going to leave some of these. We're going to just come back to it. I'm going to do a part 2. I've already decided. I made the executive decision. So, hey, shout out to everybody who was in the chat. This is probably the most engagement I've gotten in the chat so far. So I appreciate you all for doing that. Shout out to everybody who was talking to me and talking about the draft picks. Yeah, so we're going to do a part 2. Part 2, we will go through where I leave off. I did 11 today, so part 2, We'll do 12 to 30, and we'll talk about those, each one of those teams, and I'll probably go off on a bunch of tangents. So make sure you join us. I think I'm going to just do part two, maybe either tomorrow or early Friday. Maybe early Friday. I think that'll be the way to do it. But shout out to everybody who joined. Thanks again. Shout out to all my subscribers. I appreciate you all subscribing. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. This channel is more than just about sports. We do motivational content as well. We do, I'm talking about motivational stuff. I like to tie it in with sports and with music as well, because those are two of my personal passions. But, as this channel grows, I'm going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff. And I want to be able to do live streams where I talk about, the random topics, and I do the random live reactions. But I want to start getting into some other stuff as well. I'm going to be growing the channel out. So that's all I'm going to say on that, because I like to talk about things as I've completed them. I don't like to talk too much about what I have in the works, because I don't want it to not work. So I like to talk about stuff as I complete them, but I'm going to have news for y'all, especially starting this Friday. So catch y'all soon. I think I'm going to do the stream either tomorrow or Friday. So I will let y'all know. I'll make a post about it. But as I said before, shout out to all my subscribers. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. And hey, as I always say, we building each other up over here as men, as women, as everybody. Come and join the chat. Come and engage. Come and talk. I have no problem with any of those things. But I will catch y'all on the next one. Peace. Have a good rest of the week. Happy hump day, everybody.